Do you even INTJ, bro? All right, so I saw this guy. I had to throw him in here. I know I'm sick of politics. We're all sick of politics, but I just can't get enough. It's too fun to watch all the clowns come out and stuff. So this guy, he has predicted the presidents for the past several many years in a row here. Okay. So starting with Reagan's second term, then George W., Clinton, Al Gore. So I'm not quite sure when it went on there. I think like Gore won the popular vote, but not the electric vote or whatever.
Electric?
Yeah. And then you had this is George W. Was he only one term?
I thought he was two.
I thought he was two as well.
Well, maybe that's what the.
Oh no, he was two terms. He was this one. Okay,
Al, yeah.
So a little confusing on the sensory, but there's green check marks on him. So
it must be right.
So this is all good.
All right, there's enough coin flips in a row. So he probably has, if he is INTJ, he probably has some kind of system where he has these interesting NI blocks that all of the sensory can fit into that would then spit out the
Exactly. So let's go over the coins real quick. So NI has a narrowed down worldview that then forces all the new facts into it. So I'll play a clip of them at the end. You'll laugh your ass off. It's just right out of a textbook that we don't have yet. And then the SE has an open worldview that likes to break out of reoccurring patterns.
Obligated to come up with a random, out-of-context example of how this is not a reoccurring pattern and not true.
The lead NIs, rarely do you see them actually come up with a system and concept that is balanced with the SE enough to get trackable results.
So he did enough sensory, is what you're saying.
He must have.
Enough sensory to actually build an accurate pattern. That's what we see they don't usually do. They don't usually get enough details in to attempt to break or make that pattern.
Historian Alan Lichtman has been following this very closely. He successfully predicted the outcome of every U.S. election going back to 1984, and he's back with us from Bethesda, Maryland. Alan, good to see you today.
Thank you.
How are you feeling about which way this is going?
How are you feeling?
This is looking like it's going to be my 10th successful prediction in a row ever since I predicted Ronald Reagan's re-election in April 1982, 2.5 years ahead of time, and in the midst of the worst recession in the Great Depression. I'm able to do this because I ignore the very flawed polls. I don't listen to pundits. I don't follow the day-to-day events of the campaign. Rather, I look at the big picture of incumbent strength and performance through my 13 keys to the White House. And if 6 of these keys or more go against the party in power, they're predicted losers. Donald Trump was down 7. So way back in August, I predicted Donald Trump's defeat. I predicted that Joe Biden would be the next president. And I stuck with that through all the seeming ups and downs of the campaign, which had no effect on the fundamentals. So always tell the voters, forget about the polls, forget about the pundits, keep your eye on the big picture.
Some NI breakdown of his scam. So he has like these 13 keys.
Like points or something.
They're keys.
Oh.
Again, because this is the enchanted forest, right? So you have your NI keys.
Concepts.
It's kind of nice that he has an odd number so that doesn't allow it to be 50-50.
Interesting.
And so he gives them like a pass or a fail. I didn't even fully fucking get into the sensory of how the goddamn thing works.
I was going to say, you're going to give us
I got the concept and I got the hell out of there.
Give us some examples.
I don't know.
Nope. Oh, if they had a scandal, that's super
There you go. So for example, like with Trump, there was social unrest during the summer, and then Trump didn't jump on that and turn that into a positive. So he's like, ooh, I'm going to give you a negative. I'm going to give you a fail on that one. And then so you just rack up enough fails versus passes, and that's what then determines. So he's...
Okay, so what you would have to do, and actually to get this working, so this is what NI is doing all the time. This is what people don't realize when they think they have Savior NI. It's like, are you actually constantly going, okay, this should, so you have a social unrest, this should lead to this outcome, and then testing that, and then testing that again. Because here's what's happening with the NIs. God, especially the masculine. But either way, the NIs, those that are like, I will prove my case 10 years from now. So my guess is this guy's just been working in the background, constantly guessing, constantly evaluating again, constantly guessing. I mean, he has so many presidents that he's done this through. How early back did he start this pattern to even start testing? Okay, my proof, my sensory proof will meet me 10 years from now when I've finally gotten it again and again and again. Like, that's how far out NI is like, meet me 10 years from now. I'll prove that I can actually track this and get it right.
Our next guest has accurately predicted the outcome of every presidential election since 1984. Historian Alan Lichtman says he's created a foolproof forecast system, and he joins us now with his pick to win the 2020 race. Alan, good morning to you. Thank you for your time this morning. Really appreciate it. Just hours to go. Who will it be, Trump or Biden?
Well, here's how it works. I have my system, which you've noted has been correct since 1984, the 13 keys to the White House. And if 6 keys go against the incumbent party, that's Donald Trump now, they are predicted losers. Well, at the end of 2019, he only had 4 keys out against him. But then we had the failed response to the pandemic in 2020 and the failed response to the cries for racial justice. The result was 3 more lost keys for Trump. The short-term economic key, because the pandemic pushed us into a recession. The long-term economic key, because of the negative growth. And the social unrest key, because of what's raging across the land. So Trump goes to 7 keys down, 1 more than is needed to predict his defeat. And so my final prediction, which still stands, is that Joe Biden will become the next president of the United States, and never before in American history
there's those conceptual keys.
The White House party suffered such a dramatic reversal of fortune in such a short period of time.
So he's 7% behind the national polls, Donald Trump, 3% in the key states. What you can't predict, and what's not part of those keys, I guess, is how many people will actually turn out and vote tomorrow. That is the great unknown here, right? And that could bring him back, couldn't it?
Well, it hasn't falsified my predictions for 40 years. The keys are a very robust system. I developed them going back all the way to the election of Abe Lincoln in 1860 in the horse and buggy days of politics, and have used them predictably since 1984. So they have survived through low turnout, high turnout elections, through the modern era, through an era when we had no automobiles, no radios, women couldn't vote, we're an agricultural economy. So I'm not worried about the ups and downs of any given year.
Just, there you go. That's how it's done.
There you go.
So I'm going to do my dramatic announcement, okay? All right, here we go. Wait a drum roll. All right. I'm calling it. Hillary Clinton, the winner of this presidential election. 3 weeks before the election, exactly 3 weeks, almost exactly. And before the third debate begins, it's about to begin as we do this live coverage, she's going to win the election. Now, a lot of people thought Hillary Clinton was going to win this election, thought the election was over a long time ago. But they don't count. I do. I'm kidding.
I welcome you to the third and final of the 2016 presidential debates between Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and Donald J. Trump. Secretary Clinton, Mr. Trump, welcome. Let's get right to it.
I would like to say that everyone watching, he applauds people who are pushing and punching. I've had the great honor of traveling the world. Donald was thinking about a young girl. Donald thinks belittling women makes him billions of dollars. America is great because America is good.
We're getting the drugs, they're getting the cash. We're getting the drugs, take a look at the cash. Bundles of cash as big as a stitch. They paid them $1,500. We're getting the drugs, they're getting the cash. We're getting the drugs, take a look at the cash. Bundles of cash as big as a stitch. 1.7 billion in cash. We want to build a wall. We need the wall. The Border Patrol, they all want the wall. We stop the drugs. We shore up the border. They all want the wall. But we need law and order. Be violent, cause fights, do bad things. We're getting the drugs. They're getting the cash. We're getting the drugs. Take a look at the cash. Bundles of cash as big as a stage. They paid them $1,500. We're getting the drugs. They're getting the cash. We're getting the drugs. Take a look at the cash. Bundles of cash as big as a stage. 1.7 billion in cash. Be violent, cause fights, do bad things.